Gus. I work with JCA along with Alex and all that. I'm the IT guy of the group, so I also get to, usually I'm setting up all of this stuff, and so I get the joy of explaining. If at any point during any of this you have questions, feel free to stop me. I will try to go slow. I'll try to explain things thoroughly. But I also sometimes assume things, so please stop me if there's anything that is assumed that needs to get explained. First off, I'm just going to do a little bit of an overview. So you have kind of 3 stations over here, with the middle one kind of being set up to be able to move around as needed. You've got the iMac right here that is going to be doing the heavy lifting for streaming. This basically takes your video feed, video and audio, and sends it out for broadcast. But primarily what this person is going to be doing is they're going to be operating ProPresenter over here and doing all the slides that we see on the screens up there. This spot right here is our video station. So this is where we can move our new PTZ camera around. This is where we can change our inputs and sources going out to our live stream, as well as manipulate a couple things like change up what we've got going on our projectors. That's all controlled from here. And one fun thing is we've actually got it figured out with what you all already had. We got a nice way to be able to actually turn your projectors on and off without having to walk around with remotes. I'll be looking forward to showing you all how to do that. And then coming on down here, we have Audio World, which has the most amount of gear because, of course, the audio guys have all sorts of fun toys over here. And this is where you mix everything that's heard in this room and heard out elsewhere. Any questions on those 3 stations so far as far what they are? Cool. We will dive into it then. With the iMac over here and talking about graphics and that. So from my understanding, just from observing, you guys already used ProPresenter 6 before, correct? So ProPresenter in and of itself is not new to you guys. What will be new is ProPresenter 7, which we've upgraded you guys to. The reason for the upgrade is now you can output a lot more different items from ProPresenter simultaneously without you guys having to do too much, which allows us to do really neat things like put lyrics over top of video. So that's why we went to 7. The main thing with 7 over 6 as far as differences is they changed what they called some things. And they moved the user interface around. From an operator standpoint, those are the main 2 things that they changed. Everything else, all the bones of ProPresenter 6 that you guys are accustomed to, they're all still here. You still have a library with all of your songs in it. You still can create playlists from week to week, however you like. Your slides, they still advance the same way. You can still click them, you can still use mouse and space, all that good stuff. Because you guys already used ProPresenter 6, I was able to migrate over your entire library so you don't have to start from scratch. Fingers crossed everything transferred, because it took about 6 attempts to move absolutely everything you guys had over to here. And it did crash at the very end of the 6th attempt, but it looked like it grabbed everything. If you do notice, oh hey, I think something is missing, you can pull in individual bits and pieces from 6, and I did leave ProPresenter 6 still installed. If you click the launch pad icon down here, which just looks like a bunch of little boxes, you can actually find ProPresenter 6 right here still where it was before, if there is anything that's missing. But by and large, everything got moved over into ProPresenter 7. Let's start with a couple different things to look at here. I'm going to trigger some things. So before, if you wanted to clear... Oh, yes, absolutely.
I just
feel free.
Where you're at.
Yep. I'm kind of obscuring.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah.
Before in ProPresenter 6, if for whatever reason you needed to dump to black or clear stuff out so that way it was no longer showing, your clear items were up here, right? You'd have like clear all and all that good stuff up in the top left.
Absolutely.
Now that has moved over to the right side. Why, you ask? I don't know. They decided, hey, we're releasing a full number revision. We got to make some changes. We're going to move it over here.
So got to make it worthwhile the upgrade.
Exactly.
Moved a couple buttons.
Yes, they moved a couple buttons and they did a lot of stuff under the hood. But yeah, so they moved it over here. So now we can see over here that there's an array of icons on the right side, as well as a big bar right here. Anything that is illuminated in red is a layer that's currently active in ProPresenter. If I look right here and let's see, oh yeah, if you hold your mouse over, a lot of the stuff in here does have mouse over tooltips. So if you put your mouse on top of it, let it hang out, it'll tell you what the icon that somebody decided was clear enough actually does with words. So this right here is clear slide. So just like in ProPresenter 6, if I click the clear slide button, it's going to get rid of any text or images that I had previously had up on the screen. Down here is a little button that says clear media. That's what I thought. So if I click on clear media, it's going to clear any media items that you have currently playing. And if I have anything playing, this big bar right here is the clear all bar, and that'll dump absolutely everything out. So much like 6, that's how it operates in 7. They just kind of changed it and shoved it over here. Let's see, what are some other interesting things? This down here, this is new for ProPresenter 7. This is taking a lot of small windows that used to exist in 6 and kind of condensing them down to a nice little pane here that you can manipulate. This is where your audio bin is, so if you want to play short sound clips or music or anything like that, any files that you might have, this is your audio bin, much like your video bin that you had down here in 6. It's a place where music can live. There are also some other tabs for different things like changing your stage display, starting countdown timers, putting messages or props or macros. Lots of this is like high level. I'm doing crazy harebrained mad scientist stuff with ProPresenter. That all lives in here. I don't believe, because I didn't see anything in there that imported over from 6, that you guys were using it in 6, so I won't spend too much time on that. But if you guys ever do start diving into those features and you want to know more, A, there's a ton of information on the internet, but B, if that doesn't help you, please call us. We'll absolutely walk you through some of those more advanced things. Let's see, hopefully I didn't rotate the mouse upside down because I do that all the time. Let's see some other important things. All right, yes, slide manipulation. So, in the top left here, we've got a bunch of all of our important buttons about how do we work with our slides. So first off is a search function here. Do you all utilize Song Select?
Yeah.
Okay, we will need to get that logged in. Song Select lives within here. Oh, well, why don't we do it right now? Who's got a username and password for Song Select?
I can have it for you in a few minutes.
All right.
Do you already have it?
It's in the black notebook under the hymnals at the very end back there, Tim.
Perfect. So Song Select integration still exists. That's still absolutely something we can use. Great, awesome, huge time saver. I tell every church I come into, if they don't already have Song Select, get Song Select. Your slide person will thank you. All right, we've got some Song Select credentials.
Look at that, Lisa. You're on top of it. You're prepared.
And
Just trying to get me out of here.
right? I can understand. We sent one of our
I
guys
heard
back.
one of your guys was going to the caves to start the
He
cooking,
is. FBC.
and they left you here.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Stream. Oh, it's not strem, it's stream. There we go. Helps to spell things properly. Hey, perfect. Awesome. Allow. Good. Thank you. All right. So we have our search button here, which will let us search our library here. The little ProPresenter icon means that I am searching my library of everything I've already got imported in here. So if I go for like 10,000 reasons, I can see, oh hey, that's not actually imported here. But I could go into the little song select circle here, and then here we go, 10,000, or oh, it's 10,000, not 1,000, it's 10,000, there we go. So,
Faith is a little...
so many zeros. So 10,000 reasons. I can come over here, and now, so I can confirm, okay, yeah, that's actually the song I want, just by clicking on here, and it'll give you a little song preview. There's also another little circle icon here. Everybody's doing circle icons. That's for multi-tracks. That's another service. If you guys don't use it, don't worry about it. So let's go back to our search. I'm going in here, 10,000 reasons. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to confirm, hey, are those the lyrics that I actually want? Yes, they are. That's the correct song. I'm going to hit import. And when I hit import, hey, this dialogue should look familiar from 6. They have not changed this at all.
Yeah.
I typically go, when I'm importing, I change this to line break, and I do 2. And that'll be important here in just a little bit when I explain kind of how this is working over here. When I do line break, I go every 2 lines, break the slide. Size, we want to make sure that this is 1920 by 1080. If you ever forget and numbers are hard, we've got, you just basically click any one of these up here. These are your screens that are outputting. So we just make sure it's that. And then theme. There's a bunch of built-in themes here that ProPresenter ships with, but I also went ahead and created a couple for you guys under FBC Olive Hill. And the PJ theme, which is short for projector, is a pretty good, hey, this makes text a decent size, very readable on your screens theme. So if I click the PJ theme here, it'll give me some options here. It'll let me import it to my library, and it'll also let me import it to a playlist if I have any playlists. Right now I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit import. And apparently you all already had it in your library. It just didn't show up in the search. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new version of this. If you ever see this dialog, this is just saying, hey, it's already here. Do you want to use what you already have instead of importing? Do you want to write over it? Do you want to create a new version? Create a duplicate. I'm going to go ahead and create a new version. So you can see here, it has imported the song in here. It's already created, all the tags and stuff like that that you all are familiar with. And it's gone ahead and broken up my slides for me. The reason I was talking about having 2 lines per slide, if I click on this slide right here, and maybe it decides to present, and maybe it decides that it's angry at me. Let's try this again. I click on, come on ProPresenter, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends. I click on this one, and it decides it might do something. Hey ProPresenter, you know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to say the old standby of turn it off and back on again. It really, what I've discovered, no matter how many iterations of this program Renewed Vision comes out with, every time that dialog box pops up that says, hey, you've got more than one of these, you're going to have some issues. As we just saw. Because look, oh, look at wonderful, it's working again. So the reason I mentioned 2 lines per slide, we're going to look at the one that I just imported versus the one you guys already had in here. With 2 lines per slide, it's going to present itself nicely on your lower thirds, because now we're not only generating lyrics for people in the room, we're generating lyrics for people on the live stream here. If I go back to the old formatting here where we had 4 lines per slide, and I click on this, let's actually bring that back up so we can see that. That's what it's going to do, is it's going to shrink your text, because you've got 4 lines now, it's going to shrink your text to fit on the lower thirds and not cover up the rest of the image. So that's where slide formatting is going to become important, and why you're going to want to move to having 2 lines per slide, or 3. 3 could be doable. If I come in here, let's go quick edit this right quick and back that up 1. That is technically 3 lines per slide now. If I back that up, it fills it out a little better. It's obviously a little smaller than if we just had 2 lines per slide, but it fits it a little better. But when you go up to 4, that's when it really starts compressing things. So be mindful of that as you're doing. Another thing to be aware of so you see my newly imported slides here are in this 16:9 widescreen aspect that matches what your screens are doing out there. Some of your older slides here you can see are in this 4:3 square aspect. What that can do, and I wonder if I'll actually get an example to show you. It's not doing it now, which is fine. But what will happen on occasion is if you have slides that are formatted differently than the screen that's up there, you can actually get it to where, oh hey, it looks fine here, and then I go throw it up on the screen, and it doesn't. The lines might do funny things. They might drop words down to the next line or things like that. The way you fix one of these older slide presentations being in the wrong format is, let's see if I remember, is you right click on it, go down to resize here, and it's going to pop up that same kind of size window that we saw before when we were importing a new one, and we're just going to resize it to any of our screens that we have here. They're all the exact same. So if I click on full screen here, it's going to resize my slides now. Okay, cool. We've got our right layout in there. We can even see here. Now we can kind of fill that out a little bit better.
Gotcha.
It's not returning as much. So that's just something to be cognizant of with, okay, we've taken our old, we've imported it into the new. It may not be exactly perfect right off the rip.
We're getting a pro request, so everybody's phones are going to go off.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. I am used to stuff going off. I mean, even today, your county has the nicest emergency alert system operator. Oh my goodness. I was loving the emergency alerts that were coming through this afternoon. I'm like, these
Fair is
people,
canceled.
yes, I was like, these people are so kind. I love
Every
it.
year.
So
We just need to cancel the fair permanently because
Or
we
move
can
it.
never
Or move
have
it up, yep.
Or move it.
But yeah, I was loving the nice little love note that said, hey, you know, we might have some flooding, so we're just going to put this out here. It was great. Anyways, I'm easily distracted. Other than that, slide manipulation is no different in 7. You still can really easily create returns in slides to break them up. The one nice thing they made it is so that you can actually quickly break up slides from the quick edit slide now. So before, if you were familiar with keyboard shortcuts in ProPresenter, holding the Option key and hitting return would let you make a slide break, but it would never work in this little quick edit window. Now it does. So that's super cool. If you're anyone who's kind of a ProPresenter power user and no keyboard shortcuts, that's a real time saver for breaking it up and moving around how you want. We didn't even touch too much on these up here. So we hit search, covered that. Themes. That used to be called templates in 6. They're called themes now. These are kind of predefined looks for your slides. So I can come in here and hit theme, and it's got some countdown themes built in here. There's the Olive Hill themes that I built out for you all, as well as some lyric slides and some other things. A bunch of themes. Play around with them. You can always edit these, manipulate them. In there, but you've got lots to pick from, but I got you guys some nice starters right in here. And then over here we've got a lot of other views stored in here. So the one that you're going to be looking at primarily is this show view, where you can see kind of your library and playlists over here, all of the items contained with either in your library and playlist. You've got media bins in here, which you guys I can see used extensively from 6, and then the visual of the media bin down here. So that all lives within the show. This is basically everything that you're doing while you're showing slides in ProPresenter. Next over is the edit window. should look very familiar for those familiar with 6. This is where I can come in here and really granularly edit my slides and do all this. Everything is exactly where you left it. And I think pretty much everything is, called the same thing in here. There are some really neat features that they've added in 7 that I'll point out just because they're kind of fun. One of my favorites right here is under the text window. If you've got text selected here, there's this scaling option that's really cool. It'll actually let you like always scale your text up to fill, or always scale your text down to fit in the window, or scale it up or down to fit. It's just kind of a cool thing that automates some text things as you're going. But yeah, all your typical things like adding an outline, which is stroke or shadow to your text, all of that stuff still lives within here. It's right where you left it. It's just this is how you get to it now. If you used the reflow editor in 6, this is where it lives in 7. This is just another way to kind of move your slides around and change your line breaks and things like that. I never really used the reflow editor much myself, but this is where it lives. If you're familiar with what it is in 6, here it is in 7. Built-in Bibles. You will have to, I believe, all of the Bibles are here, it looks like, that you might have used before. Did you guys use the built-in Bibles in 6, or? Okay, so that functionality is still built within here. You can still come in here and look up, all the stuff you need to. Wow, that is not the numbers that I punched in, but thank you. I'll take that. You can still punch this in here, and okay, what in the world did I just do? Oh, I added another translation of the Bible. Okay, that's what I did. We're learning together how to use the built-in Bible thing, because honestly, like I said, I never used it before. If you're familiar with how the Bible editor works, it's here, and this is where it lives. So feel free to utilize it. If you do need more explanation on how the Bible editor works, we can work through it together. But this is where the built-in Bible thing. Honestly, I just went and I copied it from Blue Letter Bible and threw that in, or Bible Gateway. That's what it was, Bible Gateway. I did copy and pasting when I was building slides for my church.
Well, sometimes our pastor during the sermon will throw out additional scripture.
Why do I always get thrown under the bus, Lisa?
I'm just casually.
I don't think she said anybody by
I
name.
didn't call anybody by name.
No.
Landon.
Well, we've only got one of those around here, so.
So those are your primary views that you're going to be in for editing and manipulating. There are some others down here as well. We've got, and they have them buried under here because they don't actually expect you to use them all that often. Stage editor. This lets you change what the screen looks like that's facing towards the stage. If you guys didn't see it when you were walking in, the TV down below pointed at the stage actually has a really cool stripped down view of what we're seeing up there. So up on that stage we can throw background graphics and all sorts of other fun stuff up there. But for the folks looking on stage, it's stripped out. It's just nice, clean text, very clearly stating what's currently on the slide, what's coming up on the next slide so they can read ahead and be prepared, and the time, which I need to break that out to seconds, because not that any pastor needs to know exactly how
I
close
think you're
they
just going to have to go ahead and take that part off.
No, I think you're going to have to make sure the time's right.
I was going to say, can you enlarge that?
Oh, the great thing is,
5 minutes before.
absolutely, we can just go ahead.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, big. So,
That's all right, I'll ignore it.
as every good pastor does.
Yeah.
Now, is there an option to put a
Buzzer.
So,
Yeah, Jeff has a great idea. 5-minute countdown,
yes. So,
11:55.
all of that functionality is
just
actually
start the,
built into
countdown clock
here.
from
You
the very
could do
beginning.
that, yes.
Right in the
Don't teach them. Just don't tell them.
Can we wait for
Can we write messages and only send them to the stage manager?
You absolutely could. So that field is not on the one that I have built out here, but there is the ability
There
to
is
add
one.
that. You can actually create as many layouts as you want, and you can change them on the fly under the screens menu. You can actually come in here and say, hey, we're going to change from this layout to the next layout. It's also in the show view. Underneath our little stage layout. I guess that little like candy corn looking thing is the stage layout. I don't know. But you can actually change it what stage layout is currently showing down there as well. So you can actually build out one. So for example, if you've got a movie, like a video clip that you're showing, you can create a stage layout that duplicates what you're seeing there. So you've got lots of flexibility there. You can build all sorts of stuff into it. Oh yeah, and this is the stage message window right here. You can punch that in and say, I don't know, wrap it up in there, and you can hit that and hit show. And so, yeah, all of that functionality is still present. You also have your theme editor, so if you do want to go in here and create your own themes, you can come in here and like, say you like this, but you want to change it up a little bit and make another one. You can actually right click and duplicate, maybe. Oh, there we are, just a little slow. You can, oh my, I'm moving things around now. Come on, computer, keep up. You can actually right click and duplicate this and manipulate the themes and create your own. Again, this is a starting point for you all. It's not the end all.
So would you recommend that when we pull in songs from Song Select that we just replace the old ones that we have and go with the new, so that they automatically go to 2 lines?
That is something I'm going to leave within the hands of your capable ProPresenter operators and the people who work on that. If they think, hey, yeah, it's going to be faster for me to manipulate what's already in there, cool, let them do that. If they think, I'd rather just delete it and start over fresh, and that's another option too. That's something that I'll say you can do it either way. It's whatever your comfort level is. The nice thing about manipulating what you already got old is it actually helps teach you the tools a little bit.
Right.
And as a file back, you can always just delete and add. Oh, we've got a CCLI editor up in here. Oh, this changes the overlay that I hate and never used at my church. But yeah, this lets you manipulate how that looks. You just make sure at some point you show that information to actually be in compliance with CCLI. This before and after every song stuff is like watching a music video, and that's not what we're here for. But that's not legal advice. Props editor, this lets you add little fun things that bounce up over top, like nursery call things. You know, if that's something you want to look into at a later date, feel free. And mask editor, you'll never use this. Long story short, you'll never use it here. Don't worry about it. How do we feel about ProPresenter? ProPresenter 7. I know I went quickly, but I know that's because you guys used 6 before and you really just need to be pointed in the direction of where all the tools were and what the name changes were. Do we feel like we need more information on ProPresenter, or do we feel comfortable on what changes have occurred here with ProPresenter and ProPresenter 7?
What's feeling?
You will not
I'm
hurt my
good.
feelings if you need more
Get
explanation.
into it on Sunday and figure it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll have the phone with YouTube right next to it.
There you go.
Well, and I will say that they do have a large selection of videos, training videos. Of course, you have to, kind of go through the whole, they're introducing everything every
Yes.
time, and so you speed through that. But they do have a good selection of videos on different parts.
Hannah, did
if
you
you've
say
got
you
enough
had
time
worked
to do
on
that.
ProPresenter 7?
Is this
So
the
you're
one?
already familiar with this from your last church somewhat, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
It's been a while.
So Jeff and I will just be lagging behind, but we'll dig into it.
You'll get it.
Yep.
You got ProPresenter 6, in no time. So.
Yep. So, again, feel free. We're always a phone call away. We're happy to assist with that. But yeah, there's lots of information in there to pull it in. And the great thing is, you guys are starting from a great spot because you've already got your old stuff imported.
Oh, I'm going to call Alex at least once a week
That-
over the next couple
Where
months.
did you leave your phone number?
That is the important thing, that you got our stuff
Yeah.
Yes.
imported.
Exactly.
Just know that on Sunday mornings we're doing tech too.
Sure, sure.
Yes.
So
Wait a minute. So if I text you at like 11:12, I can't.
Actually, that's a good time because at that point,
I
this
will,
is Dr.
that's a
David
good time. I will
on stage.
text back then. If you text me at 10:40, 10:30,
Nope.
Yep. But the good
I'll
news
text you
is,
11, 12.
well, the good news is if you text him at that time, he's just gonna forward that text to me. This time.
That's true.
Yes, because
That works.
my church hasn't asked me to serve yet, and because I was a church technical director for 10 years. I served on staff full time, and so I have opinions. And I am
Fictional, are we?
yes, and so I don't want to like start the relationship off by pushing myself in there. I want them to ask me and for me to serve them. So it's just a posture that I'm in right
You buy
now.
this humility, Alex?
I mean, I'm tech director at a different church, so.
Yep. Listen, he would kill to have me, so. All right, so we're going to talk about now, we're going to switch